Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving headfirst into a really common trap, a paradox that can totally sabotage your best efforts. You know the one. You build this incredible, powerful vision for your future, and then like 2 seconds later, you're scrambling to find proof that it's actually on its way. Let's get into why that's happening.
Okay, let's just get right to the heart of it. You've done the work, right? You've done the visualization. You've sat in the feeling of it being real. So why is your very next move to pull out a tarot deck and ask, so, is it coming? It's this weird disconnect so many of us have been through, and it's exactly what we're going to unpack today. And this whole strange loop, well, it actually has a name. We're calling it the manifestation paradox. It's this bizarre cycle of creating something so powerfully in your mind, only to immediately turn around and undermine it by desperately searching for validation. And here it is, laid out as clearly as possible. I mean, look at the conflict here. The entire point of this work is to generate the internal feeling that your desire is a done deal. But the second you go looking for external proof, your action is screaming the complete opposite. It's basically telling the universe, yeah, I don't actually believe this is real yet.
You know, it's so easy to just write this off as, oh, I'm just being impatient. But the source material we're looking at says, nope, it goes way deeper. It's actually a fundamental displacement of your own personal power. You're literally handing over your authority to something outside of yourself, and you're doing it under the banner of being spiritual or seeking guidance.
So this need to both surrender and control at the same time? Psychology actually has a name for this, and it perfectly describes what's going on. It's called the master control illusion.
And this concept just nails the contradiction, doesn't it? It's kind of like being a movie director who tells their actors, okay, just improvise, be free, but then shouts every single line and instruction at them from just off camera. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You simply cannot surrender to a process and try to micromanage it at the exact same time.
So why do we do this? What is that intense pull? Well, it's completely psychological. It's driven by something called cognitive dissonance. You know that antsy, uncomfortable feeling you get when your amazing inner vision doesn't yet match what you're seeing in your 3D reality? Reaching for a tool to give you a yes is just a quick fix, a way to soothe that tension, but it's not a real solution.
Okay, so if our actions are working against us, what effect does that actually have on our intention? There's a brilliant analogy for this, the signal and the static, and it makes everything crystal clear.
So, I want you to imagine that your focused intention, that feeling of the wish fulfilled, is a perfectly clear radio signal. That's step one. Your only job is to broadcast that signal. But every single time you check for proof or you let doubt creep in, that's step two. You're just blasting the airwaves with static. And what's the result? A fuzzy, corrupted, totally unreliable transmission that can't get through clearly.
And here's the kicker. The very act of asking, is it working, is the loudest, clearest signal you can send that you believe it isn't. In that moment of seeking, you are embodying doubt and uncertainty. And since the universe just reflects back to you the state you're in, you're actually creating more circumstances that give you more reasons to feel uncertain. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's crucial.
This whole conversation really forces us to look at the word surrender in a new light, because there's a massive difference between giving up your power and actually using it wisely. Let's break down what we'll call false surrender versus true power.
False surrender is basically just giving up. It's abdicating your throne as the creator of your reality and just waiting for permission from the universe or the cards or the stars. But true surrender, that's actually about stepping into your power. It's about releasing your death grip on the how and the when while still fully 100% owning your role as the one who creates the feeling in the first place.
And this whole idea is just so powerfully captured by the mystic Neville Goddard. When he says man is all imagination, he's making this incredibly radical statement. He's saying the creative power isn't out there. It's not in any external tool or oracle. It is, and always has been, entirely within your own consciousness.
So if we know that looking outside for the answers is the problem, then the solution has to be turning inward. But that's the big question, isn't it? How? How do we practically do that? Let's talk about the actual steps for building your own internal authority.
Okay, first things first. You have to be really honest with yourself and recognize the signs that a helpful tool might have turned into a crunch. Are you checking constantly, like multiple times a day? Is your entire mood for the day hanging on what a card pull says? Are you unable to make a decision without consulting something? Or do you go result shopping? Asking another source if you don't like the first answer? These are all major red flags for dependency.
So to flip this whole pattern, the source gives us a really simple but powerful three-part strategy. 1, start your day with alignment. Before you do anything else, cultivate that feeling of the wish fulfilled. 2, when you get that urge to check something externally, just pause. Ask your inner oracle first. What does your own higher self, your intuition say? And 3, start reinforcing this new trust by keeping an evidence journal. But not of external signs, an evidence journal of every moment where you successfully held your new state of being.
And let's be absolutely clear on this. This is not about throwing out your spiritual tools. It's not about abandoning them forever. It is simply about establishing a new, healthy hierarchy. Your internal authority, your own imagination, that's the CEO. Everything else is just a consultant. And you, the CEO, get to decide whether you take their advice or not.
Because when it all comes down to it, true creative sovereignty, true power, is never found by asking for answers from the outside world. It truly begins the moment we find the courage to stop asking for permission and realize that the most powerful, most accurate oracle we could ever consult has been inside of us this whole time. So the only real question left is, are you finally ready to listen?